Hey, gang, it's no secret I am Bucks County proud, so I'm thrilled to talk about Parx Casino because Parx is the #1 casino in all of Pennsylvania, and it's in my native Bucks County. The Excite Center, the open-air Liberty Bell Beer Garden, the Parx Grill Steakhouse, the Bamboo Noodle House, just a couple of the outstanding restaurants at Parx. They've got action, they've got excitement, they've got live entertainment. It's a destination. It is Parx Casino. Time now for the headlines from smur-KON-ish.com, the newsletter. How about this? Survey question yesterday. Did the leak of the Alito opinion come from someone on the left or on the right? Now, remember, actually, in a 3-part Twitter thread, I explained my view. I said the following. I think it most likely that a progressive connected to the court leaked the Roe versus Wade opinion to bring public pressure to bear. But worth considering is that Justice Alito's op-ed was a first draft, and presumably there have been several subsequent. Perhaps a SCOTUS justice did change their concurring view, and the leak is meant to embarrass them when the final opinion comes out. In other words, I'm at least open to the possibility that it was dropped by someone on the right to either hold in place someone who might be wavering. You know, they told Justice Alito that they'd probably be voting with him, but they weren't quite locked in, or they flipped after February 10, and they want to set up a situation where that person gets outed in a month. Mark Halpern yesterday on the program sort of had a twist on scenario 2, which I think was more perfected than my own. He said maybe where Chief Justice Roberts was untethered at the time of the February 10 draft being circulated, maybe the fear was by someone on the right that he would be able to pluck off one of those conservative votes and make it a 5-4 going the other way, so that this was really meant as a governor of sorts, holding in check a guardrail on the Chief Justice and the other conservative justices. Results yesterday from the 11,669 who voted said, was it the left or the right responsible for the leak? 56.29% said it came from the left. The others came from the right. May I say that if you missed my opening commentary yesterday, which TC and Dan tell me was one for the record books because it was a full 30 minutes long, but I didn't want to be interrupted with my flow because it was complicated stuff, and I was attempting to dissect, break down the Alito draft opinion. Please go to my podcast, my daily podcast, and listen to it in total. TC told me it got an enormous reaction that was pretty favorable. I was nervous because it was complicated stuff, but you tell me, people seem to appreciate it.
A bit of a pop-up social media report. Scott says, great download of the SCOTUS draft. Thank you. Best show on radio. Keep it up, sir. Liz Newton said, thank you for your dive into Alito's draft. His reasoning is entrenched in patriarchy. Quote, deeply rooted in history and tradition. Men made the laws. Women didn't get the right to vote until 1920. He's applying a very narrow and dangerous view to historical context.
I don't want to go back and re-explain what I delved into yesterday, but it's Alito saying there are rights we recognize not enumerated in the Constitution. And abortion, of course, appears nowhere in the Constitution. Alito then said, well, what of the rights we recognize, like abortion, that aren't referenced? The issue is, are they deeply rooted in history and tradition? To that response from media. And he said, you can't say that abortion is deeply rooted in our history and tradition because up until 1972, when this case was argued, 1973, when it came out, there was no such tradition and there was no such history. And he also went on to say that Justice Harry Blackmun created out of whole cloth the trimester scenario. My view yesterday, today, ages ago, and perhaps in the future as well, is that Roe versus Wade was the right outcome, but hard to justify legally. And posted at smur-KON-ish.com today in the headlines, I would recommend the opinion piece that most closely tethers to what I offered here on air yesterday comes from David French in The Atlantic. Just one paragraph, if I may. This is how he begins. He says, it's important to understand the question before the Supreme Court. It is not, should American women possess a right to abortion? But does the American Constitution protect abortion rights? The distinction is of paramount importance. The court's job is not to determine which rights we should possess, but rather the rights we do possess. Something else related to this decision, which is soon to be released, we think at the end of next month, that I have my eye on, a lot of ripple effects, but one of them is this. Jeffrey Sonnenfeld is the management professor at Yale, who has often been a guest of mine here on POTUS and also on CNN. And he's the guy that I always rib him has the golden Rolodex, right? Does anybody even remember what a Rolodex is? Did you ever have a Rolodex?
I feel like I might have when I was little because, I would think that was really cool. Like it was a school supply kind of thing. And you to go like this and then the little cards flip and then you can pull out people's names and numbers. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I had a Rolodex in the era when I was practicing law. And I just had a thought pop into my head.
Where is it?
I wish I had it. I don't have it. But I'll tell you something funny. I remember when the Rizzo estate, Frank Rizzo's estate and his possessions sold and they brought in, auctioneers and people traipsed through the house. I remember I was coming up the driveway and Bill Brennan was just sort of like overloaded, TC,
come on,
with things that he was carrying down to an SUV. He couldn't get enough.
That's amazing.
But he's
a collector, Michael. All right. A collector.
One of the things that was sold, and Billy didn't get it, but Frank Rizzo's Rolodexes. And as I recall, there were two of them from the time that he was mayor until his passing.
And I bet they,
I
bet they dated from the time that you didn't even have area codes or you had, some other way to get, what I'm saying?
You could just call 7 numbers instead of 10.
Exactly.
But the hodgepodge of people who were in his Rolodex.
Oh, I bet.
Wild.
I bet. Actually, Michael, I bet that you could hold court with that. You have a lot of people in your orbit, as they go out that would surprise people.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
anyway,
characters.
Why did I bring up Rolodex? Because
Why?
Jeffrey Sonnenfeld is the guy who has on speed dial the Fortune 500, right? All of the Fortune 500 leaders in this country. So from the New York Times today, corporate America, headline, corporate America doesn't want to talk abortion, but it may have to. And the Times notes that for some major companies that have been known to weigh in on political and social issues, this week has been unusually quiet. Walmart, Disney, Meta, that's Facebook, PwC, Salesforce, JP Morgan Chase, Third Love, Patagonia, Kroger, and Business Roundtable among the companies and organizations that have so far declined comment or to take a position. Will corporations think Disney? Think Disney. Is Disney going to have to now weigh in? I mean, this must be murderous for these corporate leaders. It's like, oh my God, we don't want to. Why would we want to alienate the country? But Sonnenfeld's response is to say, there are some issues, but how many of those issues are there that are so of paramount concern that they have to be involved? Everything is politicized now. Among the other serious headlines of the day, the Ukraine update. I recently did a segment on both radio and television and talked about Patriarch Kirill, who is the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church. Do you know that Pope Francis has warned him not to become Putin's altar boy? Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal has an editorial saying, hey, Pope Francis, you've really not condemned the Russian invasion of Ukraine yourself, unrelated to what he said about Kirill. Pennsylvania politics, another Senate debate. Now all eyes are on Dr. Oz because perceived as the front runner, especially after J.D. Vance's victory in Ohio. The latest issue now to sting Oz or an attempted negative from his opponents. Apparently, he cast a ballot in Turkey's 2018 presidential election. Nothing illegal about it. He's got dual citizenship. He has said that he will renounce his Turkish citizenship if he wins. He also claims that he has a mother suffering from Alzheimer's who lives there, and he maintains that citizenship so that he can easily visit her. I recommend Karl Rove's analysis in the Wall Street Journal today. where Rove notes that it really wasn't as big a victory for Trump, the J.D. Vance victory, as he's being given credit. Quote, almost 68% of Ohio Republicans ignored or rejected the former president's call to join in his complete and total endorsement of Mr. Vance. And finally, TC, in terms of the political headlines of the day, from the Tar Heel state, perhaps your parents know Representative Madison Cawthorne and can shed light.
No, we're not going to involve Helen and Woody in this debacle. Absolutely not. Cannot abide by that. But what a story. Yeah. So I don't know who is after Madison Cawthorne right now, but there have been several pictures and now a video leaked about Madison Cawthorne. The latest one is him horsing around with another man in bed. He's naked.
Horsing around, was he? Is that what we're calling it?
He's grinding. There's another man filming. They're all laughing.
Wait, is he naked?
I think he's naked.
He's naked.
I think he's naked.
Huh.
That's what it appears that he's naked, and that's what they say. I didn't try to not to look too close. Can I just say, you do what you want. I have no problem with any kind of sexuality, horsing around, and I have no problem with any of it.
Divine horsing around.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you are gay, don't be against gay issues. 1. 2, you can't say, oh, that was only when I was like, you can't hold me to what was in
my youth.
You can't say it was in my lower 20s when you're 26.
That is hysterical.
Say that. You can't say that, Michael.
If you're I'm sorry. If you're 26, you're kind of on the hook for everything that has happened so far. If you're 56 and you experimented in your 20s.
I have no problem.
I always love that experiment. I picture like goggles and Bunsen burners.
Is that what you picture, Michael? That's not what I picture.
Enough. Okay, we've talked about Madison Cawthorne. I've reserved half our time to discuss one issue, which we've not brought up.
TikTok.
And it is today's survey question of the day. Will truth provide Amber Heard with a successful defense against Johnny Depp's defamation claim? You profess to not have watched this trial, but rather to just have watched a couple of the clips.
Why is that surprising to you?
Well, if you'd watched any of it, I think you'd be watching a lot of it.
Well,
it's very hard to turn away from this case.
I'm involved insofar as I'm helping you with show prep and I'm pulling audio, etc. So I've heard, I've listened, watched. I feel like I have a slight grasp on it, but definitely not watching it wall to wall. No, I'm not.
Well, I'm not watching it wall to wall either because I can't.
Right.
If I could.
Darn this job.
If I could, I probably would.
Okay. So you've been telling us your take as it goes along, and we've been talking a lot about defamation and the legal.
Right.
But what's your gut? To me, it seems just awful.
Yes. So very quickly on the legal, and then let's talk about the human. The legal is that he is suing her for defamation. He says that his reputation and his ability to make movies, star in movies, has been irreparably harmed because she said that he abused her. I think I got that all straight. It's the Washington Post. No, his name didn't appear, but everybody knew that it was him that she was talking about. So he sued her for defamation. She countersued him for defamation. It's a trial playing out in Virginia right now because he's a public figure. Johnny Depp needs to show that Amber Heard had knowledge of falsity or reckless disregard for the truth. Listen, anytime the subject matter is defamation, reputation is in play, everything's coming out. Everything is going to get aired. All the dirty laundry is coming in.
Yeah, but usually dirty laundry is a euphemism. In this case, it's real.
It's very hard to say objection irrelevant.
Right. It's all relevant.
It's all relevant.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand, why he is doing this. I don't understand why he is doing this. I mean, part of me, you know me, I'm the guy who wondered if Chris Rock and Will Smith were like all in on it.
You held on to that for a while.
Yeah. I'm almost giving it up.
Come on at this point.
I love what Howard Stern said. And we have that clip at smur-KON-ish.com as well today. I think it's from the New York Post, where Howard Stern points out, why is there a disconnect between how Will Smith was treated and how this guy is treated who rushed Dave Chappelle. I think it's a very valid point. Why did I bring it up right now? I don't know. Why did I just bring that up right now?
Because you were talking about how maybe things are perceived.
Oh, no,
I was
something else.
Okay.
No, I was totally in a different place.
Else. Oh,
I was in a different place.
Go.
I was in the place of wondering as I watched Will Smith and Chris Rock, is this all shtick?
Oh.
And there's a wee part of me. Please don't take away that I think this is all set up, but I'm absolutely going to tell you I've entertained the idea. Because in the end, people are loving this.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Loving it.
Okay, I'm peripheral, as we've discussed.
Right.
But in the clips that I've watched and audio and video that I've pulled, I can't help but look at both of them.
Oh my God, yes.
Both of them and say they're acting. Like they are completely acting.
And
both of
it's
them.
a train wreck. TC, if in a week or in a month, the two of them stood up and said, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just for shits and giggles.
Oh, no.
If the two of them stood up and said that the whole thing was a farce, honest to God, I'd believe
What about the videos and the pictures of the bruises?
That's why it won't happen.
Okay. Because there's legit abuse going on here somehow.
What I'm trying to say is this. There's a surreal element to it. And I cannot for the life of me understand what Johnny Depp thinks is the upside. He's not going to win this case.
And it's all out now.
He's not going to win this case.
And he looks worse and crazy.
Everything. Yeah. I maintain that if time had gone off the clock after that Washington Post editorial, if time had gone off the clock, he'd work again.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
Yeah.
And when he testified, he was like playing a role. And you always make an observation about women who are victim and how their disposition is presented in court. Your whole
I always say I'm going to show up in with my glasses and my hair in a bun.
She's doing that.
She's
doing that. Her hairstyle,
but
dress, lack of makeup,
but Michael,
have completely changed.
I know, but if she looked like a femme fatale, then you would say, "Oh, she's playing to the jury, like she's trying to be all sexy for the jury." She can't win in this.
I had this.
She can't win.
She can't.
No.
And the online vitriol against her is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, she can't win. You mean publicly?
She's
going to win.
Yeah, no, she can't win. For what image she's going to portray, there's no answer. There's no good answer.
Truth is a defense. So if he abused her, the case is over.
What if she abused him?
How could he? But if they abused each other, she still wins. How about this?
Then it's still the truth that he abused her.
You're playing blackjack, okay, and you each have the house has 17, you have 17. A push is a victory for her.
Okay.
A push is a victory for her.
I don't even know what you mean, but okay.
Okay. So anyway, she's testifying now. Her cross-examination will be very, very interesting. Wow. Look, if I were trying the case, final thought, if I might, if I were trying the case for Johnny Depp.
Okay.
I'll ask you, TC, if I were trying the case for Johnny Depp, he's my client. We are suing Amber Heard.
Okay.
In very general terms, do I want more men or women on that jury?
You want more women on the jury.
Why?
Because women are harder on other women, as you've taught me over the years.
Well, okay, that is my theory. So you have correctly encapsulated what I think. Do you think that?
Not in this case.
Not in this
case.
Well, nothing's going to save him in this case.
Nothing is normal in this case, though. I feel like you have two celebrity actors and it's just not normal. It's not normal. So I think all bets are off with the jury. I have no idea what they'll think.
I don't understand. As I watch, I don't understand. What are they doing there?
Yeah.
How could they possibly think? I mean, I don't suspect she wants to be there. She said yesterday it's the worst experience of her life, and I believe her. But he is the one. He wants to be there. It's the second go round. He's already litigated and lost in the UK.
But isn't it what the word we used the other day, hubris? I mean, isn't that what it is? It's just like absolutely.
TC, it has to be that he believes that there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
He must
they're
believe
both on stage.
He must believe there's no such thing as bad publicity. Anyway. Those are the headlines from smur-KON-ish.com. Register for the newsletter. And for goodness sakes, vote on today's survey question. Will truth provide Amber Heard with a successful defense against Johnny Depp's defamation claim?